Hi guys, this is part 3 of my BV series. So I was talking about the guy that had planned out his rage against me one evening. The whole situation came from me. He had asked me for money, and I don't think I ever, if I can recall correctly, I had not given this guy any money because he wasn't working. He was saying he was getting a check or something, living at home with his mom. We were both in our 40s. I think he's a little bit older than me. And I was working as a nurse. That's another reason why you have to be careful out here, ladies. So the whole setup was already off by him being older. He didn't have a car. He was living at home with his mom. But I was one of them people. I was a people pleaser, and I felt like I could change a man. It won't happen. No, it doesn't happen. And anyway, I remember him, I think he had asked me like maybe 1 or 2 days for some money. And my oldest son was not around. He was a teenager already. He wasn't there when this happened. And my other 2 younger kids, they got on the bus. They were able to get on the bus by themselves or together and go over to my mom's house. Or did somebody come and pick them up? I think somebody came and picked them up. I think my brother had them. Somebody came and picked them up. I'm sure that they weren't at home with me that evening. That's what happened. I think they were out of school the next couple of days. The next couple of days or vacation or something like that. That's what happened. So they weren't, because I was like, I don't think I would have sent them from the south side to the west side in the evening by themselves. I didn't. Nobody came to pick them up because they were already at my mom's house. So when I got home from work, the guy, he met me at the L or whatever, and we left out to work together and came through downtown and went home. Went to my house, my place. I had a nice 3-bedroom, living in public housing actually, and it went by your income. It was a rehab building, very nice building. I was on the 15th floor in, a nice 3-bedroom. It was probably like 1,000 square feet. Very nice though. It was only like $510 a month, and I remember staying there just until I was able to buy me a house. So I moved over there, and then the place came up so quick that I was on that waiting list for a while. And when they called me that March, the end of March, I was able to move in like the early April 1st. Yep. But anyway, it was a nice apartment. And it has issues, but they kept the building up. It had plenty of heat. But in some, you did have to provide your own air conditioning, like fans or whatever, like fans. So, or they had to put the air conditioners in the windows for you. But it was a nice building. But I remember that day, he had asked me for money like 2 days or 2 nights in a row or something. And I remember this particular day, I think it was on a Friday night or something, or a Saturday. I can't remember, but I remember him looking at me real funny. Like I got off the phone talking to somebody in my family, and I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you all another time, blah, blah, blah. And I remember he gave me this look like of disgust, like I'm about sick of you now. I could see it on his face. I could feel it coming, but had I been really paying attention to I'm not faulting myself for the intuition that I had, but when I got that feeling, when I looked at him, I got off the phone, I said, and it was weird. Something came over me like, this not feeling good. I should have just, left out at that time. I should have just got my bag and left. I should have just had somebody call me or went to see another friend of mine and just got out of there. But I didn't trust myself enough to know that what I was feeling was authentic. And I was always doubting myself. That's another thing. When you're in these situations, you doubt yourself so much. You're not sure of yourself. And that's why I say when you come out of these situations, you need time to find yourself, to regroup, to refresh. It's like I said, it's like you've been put out of a car in the middle of nowhere and you're miles from the nearest city. Let's say you're not even that far from the nearest city, but you feel like you're out in the country. Like you might be 2 miles from a major neighborhood, but you feel like you're 10 miles out. And this guy looked at me so hard, and he gave me this look of like, That's the look he had on his face. And I didn't trust myself. I said, oh boy. I said, let's see how this go. I knew something wasn't going to be right. So later on that evening, he started to argue with me. I asked you for some money and blah, 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 blah. And you act like you too good. See, the criticism. See what I mean? The criticism right there. You act like you too good. You think you all that. And I've heard that so many times in my life from guys who weren't even worth me talking to. And yes, I did. And yeah, if you say so, then I guess it is what it is, right? Why don't you feel that way about yourself? So later on, he's got to argue me, and he was sick of this. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of your kids. I'm blah, blah, blah. I mean, he went off. This man went off. I don't know if he had smoked something. I don't know if he had, to my knowledge, he hadn't been drinking, because we came home together. I don't know if he had something hid somewhere where he got high. Like, all this time we were together, and then all of a sudden it just like he snapped. And I remember him looking at me like, I'm sick of this. I mean, he was swearing at me and everything. I'm like, well, you can go. You can get out of here. You ain't got to be here. I told him just like that. You don't have to be here. I remember it was summertime, so the windows were up, thankfully, in my apartment. Because it was a nice little breeze over there. I was close to the lakefront, actually, in Chicago. And that man snapped so fast. I mean, everything I just remember, and this is a trigger warning. I'm just, he snapped so fast that I remember being punched, like hit across the head. I was like, you don't get your hands off of me. I remember picking up like a glass, and he just kept swearing at me. I remember picking up a glass jar, but the jar wasn't heavy enough, and I don't condone this, but I just remember I had to hit him with something. I went to throw it, and then he turned around and knocked it out of my hand, and he drew back, and all I knew, I felt like, you know how those cartoons be like, those people see the stars, the moon, and oof. I mean, he hit me so hard that I stood up, but I was about to fall. Like, when he hit me, he socked me in my eye. The left eye? It had to be the left eye. And I remember, I never felt so much pain in my life. I remember going back, and I had to catch myself to keep from falling all the way back. Like, he literally almost knocked me to the ground. And they called me a B, the B word. And he just, I remember screaming like crazy. And before he did that, I missed one important detail. Before he did all that, he was cursing me out and everything. And then we had landline phones in. So he snatched that cord, and I had the long cord because the phone would go all the way around to, from the living room to the bedroom. So we had this long cord, just one phone in the house. So just so I could, if I wanted to talk in the bedroom or the living room, whatever, I could just do it. Had a nice, cute little apartment over there. And I remember him snatching that thing out the wall after he started cussing me out. I said, oh boy, this is not going to end well. And I remember just starting to scream. I'm like, help, help. And then, I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm like, somebody has to hear me. Somebody will hear me. And he said, shut up, you B. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you and your kids. And I'm sick of this. All I did was ask you for a few dollars. You act like you too good to give me that. And that's when he hit me. And then when I tried to hit him after he hit me. He punched me first across the head or something. And I got so angry, I picked up the first thing I could find, that little candy jar, and I tried to crack it on. Girl, I tried to hit him over the head with that thing. Whew, and it ended up falling on the floor because he knocked it out of my hand. And he drew back, punched me in my eye. I went back like this. I had to catch myself to keep from falling. I have never, ever felt that much pain since then, or before then or after. It was a pain that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. It was so crazy that, yeah, I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what else to do about it. I didn't know what else to do. And it's sad because that's what he did. And when the police got there, I mean, when I went to look in the mirror, I was looking a horrid mess. This eye was closed shut. It was bloody. It was red. I couldn't open it. Like, I remember, like, it was like this, and it was big and swollen. Big, I mean, it was huge. And I could barely see. I remember, like, kind of like holding the wall to get to the bathroom. And he turned around and looked at me and went out the door. That's why I said, relationships, for me, they ain't worth the paper. They're not worth the time or all that investing in them. Not for me. Not ever again will I spend quality time with somebody who's undeserving of it. It may come a day where I'll be like, you know, I would love to date again. But always in the back of my head, I'm going to be like, is this a situation? Because I can spot them a mile away. It comes in guys trying to test you, trying to make sure you're, you know. Yeah, but thank God. But anyway, to finish the story, the police came out and one of them he put together my phone. They said, well, that wasn't him that went down the stairs. I said, yeah, that was him. By the time I was able to slowly make my way back to the door because this eye was closed shut. I had to go to the ER. I had to call the guy was able to he only pulled the cord. He snatched it out of the wall or snapped it in half or something. That's how crazy this guy was. And the police officer was nice enough he sat there. I said, boy, these competent men out here, boy. It still gave me hope, like somebody cared, you know. They came out, did the report. And one of them sat down and he said, you know, your foot was bleeding? I said, I looked down. I couldn't feel anything. My whole left side was numb. And so I said, I have to share these stories. I wasn't above those type of situations. It happened to me. It can happen to anybody. And I'm in my 50s now, late 50s, still remembering those events like it happened yesterday. Just like it happened yesterday. And this is, I want young ladies to hear me. Like, this stuff is real. And I was able to get something, and the police like, are you going to the emergency room? Do you want us to take you? I call the ambulance. I said, no. I said, just do the report. And I gave him his information and everything. I said, well, he knows where I work at. And the guy, you know, he was able to put the little phone, he sat there and twisted it up. He didn't have to do that. And I'm so thankful. Like, for every bad situation I went through, I met some very nice men. So I know there's some good ones out there. Met some great men. And he sat there and twisted the phone wires back. I mean, he put it back together too. Like, he just put the wires back. He said, your phone, he picked it up and checked it. Said, okay, you got a dial tone in case you need to call out again. I said, thank you. Thank you, officer. That's why I always thank people for helping me and for doing anything for me. Like, they don't have to do any of that for me. Like, they don't have to be nice to me. But I'm so grateful when they are. I'm so grateful when they are. And that's why I said this stuff is going on. It's so crazy out there. It's so much worse than it was before. I'm sorry. So emotional with this stuff. And somebody's nice to me, I say thank you. I thank you so much. I appreciate you. I thank you for your time. And I'm grateful. You know, I don't try to act like they owe me anything. Nobody owes me anything. And anyway, my eye did eventually heal. And I'm grateful for that doctor who was in the ER that told me Well, I had called one of my friends. I didn't call my brothers because they would have taken care of that. Because my brother tried to, when I told my friend at that time, one of my exes, I called him. He wasn't that far away. And he came and took me to the ER, and he said, he told my brother, and I'm like, I didn't want to involve nobody else in that. And I tried to hide. He's like, what's the guy's name? Where he live at? And they kept digging it for, over the next couple of weeks, they tried to get that information out of me. And this is how we try to protect them. People, guys and gals who don't protect us, who will put their hands on us, their feet, and anything else they can grab. Their fist, a knife. And, I'm thankful that he did not pick up that knife, that big blade in the kitchen that day, because I think I was chopping up something to cook or something. I was doing something to fix something. And I thank God that, I don't know if I was going to go in and get a knife. No, I was getting ready to go in and get a knife, and something told me, do not pull out no knife. And I thank the universe today that I did not pull out that blade, because I know he would have used it against me. I probably would have gotten stabbed or something, because he had no problem at all hitting me. A man who had been in my bed had no problem punching me in the eye and almost putting my eye out. And the ER doctor told me, he said, Miss, he said, I'm glad you came in. I'm sorry this happened to you. He was so empathetic. But he was stern. He said, if I ever see you in here again, I'm calling the police myself. He said, because you came within less than a half a centimeter of having your vision totally knocked out of your left eye. And I broke down. I said, okay, I just dropped my head. I said, okay. I dropped my head. I said, okay. Because he looked at me. He was compassionate. He was a compassionate doctor. He didn't just come and try to pry my eye open. He actually stood there and he put something there like to moisten it, and he pulled it open. You could see nothing but it was bloodshot. The vessel had burst in it. And he said, if I ever see you in here again, he didn't say this at first. He said after he finished treating me, he said, if I ever see you in here again, he said, did you call the police? I said, yes, sir. Yes, doctor, I did. He said, if you don't press charges and I see you in here again, I will call the police myself. And I thank that doctor today. I'm so grateful. He was a Caucasian doctor. He was probably younger than me. He's probably like late 30s, early 40s. I think I was early 40s. But he might have been about my age or close to it, if not a little few, maybe the same age. And he said, if I ever see you in here in my ER again, I will call the police myself. I said, thank you. Okay. I remember dropping my head because I was ashamed. And that's the whole thing with these guys. They want to shame you to the point that nobody else can look at you with. You don't even look at yourself with dignity and respect, because who wants to walk around with a punch in the eye? This whole eye this thing was huge, and it was literally like, it was closed shut. Like I could not open it. Like it would not just open on its own. And that's why I said, I don't walk around with the world owes me something. Somebody owes me something. Nobody owes me anything. I went through that because I chose to allow the wrong guys into my life. And I didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve it. So when I asked him to leave, he got an attitude. That's why I said, ladies, give me strength, universe. Give me strength. When you go through these relationships with these guys, you will learn how to take care of yourself. I'm telling you. And I was taking care of myself anyway, but I was still putting up with nonsense from guys that weren't even supposed to be with me. They shouldn't have had access to me. But because I felt like, oh, I'm trying to be humble, and no, you don't have to do all that. You can be humble without being harassed, without being a punching bag. So I set myself up to be a punching bag for them. I set myself up to be mistreated. I'm not proud of that. But I want you all to listen to my stories. Listen to me tell my tales, my story times. Like, this stuff is scary out here. And this was back in the 2000 and something. But you see how it still affects me today. Like, I can't get past the tears sometimes. And I try to laugh to make light of it, but I'm very thankful to be here. I'm very grateful to be here. Because that whole situation could have been a whole lot worse. He could have tried to throw me out. I'm not saying he would have, but who knows? He could have just decided, you know what, just get on out of here and push me on out. Like, guys, like, because he snapped so quickly, because I refused to give him money. And it was just crazy. And then he left out. He turned around before he left out. He saw that my foot was bleeding. He turned around and looked at me just like this and closed the door behind him. That's why I said some of these guys ain't ish out here. They're not nothing. Nothing. And you have to protect yourselves, ladies. That's why I said I should have trusted my instincts that day when he started to act weirding out on me, like he was changing, like he was looking at me like he was angry, pissed off. Because I should have never been in that house alone with that dude. Never. Because it could have went. And I'm so thankful. Like I told my son, I said, my teenage son, oldest son at that time, I'm like, I almost grabbed a knife on him, but something told me, just why I just went on and picked up that little jar. And when I got ready to hit him over the head with it, it actually he knocked it out of my hand, so it fell to the floor. And, when he hit me, like I said, my whole left side went numb. And I remember just trying to hold on and keep, like, I almost felt like it was I just felt like I was about to pass out. I had to keep myself, I went back, and I had to hold myself up to keep from falling. But I remember dragging that whole left side to the bathroom. And when I turned around and looked at him, he saw my eye. He didn't try to stop. He didn't say nothing. He just left. So that was a hard lesson, ladies, but make sure you all take care of yourselves. And that's why I have to put these stories out here, because, it's been going on forever. But I just want you all to be able to keep yourself safe and know that you can come back after domestic violence. It just may take a while, but you can come back after it. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys.